right, 23 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Monday morning, June 1st. And every time the month changes over, it's like you're refreshed, right? You got a new, it's like when the new year starts, you got a whole year, you got a whole month to figure out what you can do that's going to be good for you and for everybody else. Mona Patel is on the phone, and you just told me that the book we're going to talk about is not quite out yet. So we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit on this, but she has so many credentials that there's probably a few things I wouldn't mind picking her brain about anyway. She's a branding expert. How many of you realize how important it is to actually be able to make a brand for yourself, whether it's your little mom and pop store, or you've got a huge corporation? If you don't have the, they used to say, if you don't have a sign, a business with no sign is a sign of no business.
Yes.
Right? A business with a sign that nobody recognizes is just as bad as having no sign. You have to have something about it. There has to be something, and it's just the way we are. She's the founder and CEO of Motivate Design, and UX hires whole clients, including Coca-Cola, Chick-fil-A, LexisNexis, it goes on and on. The what-if technique is something that she wants to talk about, I hope.
Yes.
That will transform attitudes toward innovation. And Mona Patel, good morning, Mona.
Good morning, Larry.
Gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that we were calling you in advance of when you had hoped to be on, but thank you for being gracious.
Totally fine.
Well, thank you for your graciousness in allowing us to talk to us at that last minute there. So.
Are you kidding? I'm so excited about it. And actually, the book is available on pre-order, so it's kind of there. It's good enough.
And tell me, what is the book called?
Sure. It's called Reframe, Shift the Way You Work, Innovate, and Think. And the general idea is, people get frustrated because at companies they're launching products or services that they don't think really meet the customer needs. And so this gets into why innovation isn't happening, and then a technique, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, that can help you use your creative mind to come up with solutions to problems that are happening in your business.
So innovation is the key to almost everything successful, isn't it? I mean, it always amazes me. Like, you'll see this, like I saw this video this morning, and I know this may not exactly fit in, but in a way it does. There's this young girl, and she's a very talented artist, and she's talking about how she's always doodled all of her life. And now, she doesn't do tattoos, but what she does is she paints on people's bodies, and she makes videos of it. And so this has been her way of doing something the same, which is art, but differently, which is the way she's doing it. So.
Absolutely. And that's the idea is you alluded to it as a what if technique, and it's not anything fancy. It's just basically the technique, which is really interesting, which is asking the question what if multiple times for a period of time, so that you can come up with these innovative ideas. A lot of times people are bored. So in this example that you just mentioned, there was an artist who was bored. She didn't want to use the same medium with painting on canvas, painting on walls. And so, if you were an artist and you were stuck, asking the question what if, thinking about different ways to use your craft to better, either PR, which is what she's getting, right? Because that's why she got your attention.
That's right.
Brand in general, and or money. All that can come out of just asking what if and innovating.
So how did you stumble upon this at one time? Did you say, what if I said what if?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. The book actually goes through the whole history of the importance of this question for me, being of Indian descent and actually not having the capability of ask that question when I was growing up. So I think when I entered the creative field, I noticed how many times people ask what if questions. And the sad part of it is it's almost always in a negative way. So what if I fail? What if I can't? And I think that just sparked something in my mind, because I've often thought of what if as an open question that leads to possibilities, but it ended up leading to a lot of excuses for people. And this is all covered in the book.
Wow,
and
that's
so what
very
I wanted
insightful.
to do is remind people. Remind people that, you can own this phrase. You can own the idea that you're going to sit down and think through ways to solve your problem versus being worried, essentially, that you can't.
Yeah. We had a what if. Let me tell you our little what if. We were trying to raise money for the local literacy council, okay? This was a few years ago. And Robin and I were we said we'll paint landscapes. We'll take the canvases because we're not great at this, but we can do it, okay? So we paint these pictures. We say we'll sell them and we'll raise money. And we'll say, well, gosh, what are we going to get? Who's going to pay money for our paintings? $20, $30? How much are we going to actually raise? So we said, well, what if we charged $1,000, not because we expect people to actually pay it, but because it'll get attention. People will say, "What are they crazy charging $1,000 per painting?" And you know what, Mona? Some guy bought 7 of them for $1,000.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. So
you know what? I'm going to cheat and tell you kind of the secret of this book, which is basically, there's no real magical phrase. Like, what if isn't magical, but the technique I think is really interesting. So what we ask people to do is sit down for 3 minutes. So let's say you, Robin, and anyone else who you think is a stakeholder, quote unquote, for this project, and you would spend 3 minutes writing down as many what if statements as you can. It can be imagine if, it can be wouldn't it be amazing with, it can be maybe if, like the actual what if doesn't matter, but the concept of writing down different ways to solve this problem for 3 minutes and then doing it 3 times. I mean, it's fascinating, Larry, because what happens is you get beyond the first couple ideas that you have and you end up with this crazy number of ideas that you never expected. And then from there, there's ways to kind of bring that down to 4 or 5 great ideas. But what I love about it is that where people feel really stuck, as if they have a problem, they don't know what to do about it, they don't go with the first answer. They go with, it's kind of a broader stroke understanding of different ways to solve the problem, and that aha that people get, it's addictive to kind of see people do it, I have to say.
Wow. Go ahead, Ram.
How were you able to work with all the different companies and keep them all unique without using the same idea over and over again? How did you come up with the fresh ideas?
Yeah, I love that question. So, as an agency, typically what will happen is a client will call an agency, and the agency comes in and kind of is responsible for giving people great ideas. That's what our egos tell us we're there to do. Our agency is a little different. With Motivate Design, we're working with the internal teams to help them bring out their own ideas. So I work with 4 different big banks, and in each case, we've tried to solve the idea of how people manage their accounts and pay bills. And each company has a different set of ideas because they have different people there. And so really the whole technique is around helping them figure out what are they passionate about? What are some ideas that they would come to work early for, leave late for, because they really believe that this can make a difference for their brand. And a Bank of America might be different than a Chase, might be different than a First Republic Bank, because they have different drivers and they have different things that they stand for.
This is really a motivational conversation we're having. I mean, you're giving me, it's very exciting because you're giving me like a pep talk. I mean, because what you're saying, I'm guessing I'm not alone. I'm guessing a lot of people are listening to this going, gosh, she's right. We got to do this. We got to have some a what if brainstorming session. Mm-hmm. That is wonderful.
I got to tell you, I mean, it's really been, it came from pain, I have to say, because I started this company 6 years ago, and I've always been really excited about designing beautiful solutions. And when we talk about solutions, it's like, the first kiosk that you ever used at the airport, that kind of stuff, where people have never engaged with technology in a particular way, and then we're helping to bridge the human-computer interaction relationship so that people feel comfortable and they want to do it. So I had crazy ideas, was super excited to work with companies. And what would end up happening is every time we pitched an idea, the people at the company would come back and tell us, no, we can't. And sometimes it was true, but most of the time it wasn't. And so this whole thing, the last 2 years, I've really spent time thinking about, well, the core problem is that people at organizations feel like they can't. So how can I get them to feel like they can? And that is really the premise of the book. The workshops, everything that we've been doing has been kind of this pivot towards, rather than being an agency that people hire to solve their problems, being an agency that people hire to help them solve their own problems.
Wow. Have you ever heard this theory? I mean, there's no way for us to know whether this is true, but if you have an idea and you don't use it, somebody else will have it. It's like the universe says, okay, sorry, I gave it to you, but you didn't want it. Have you ever heard that?
I mean, I haven't heard of it, but I do believe it. A lot of people say that great ideas are a dime a dozen, and there's so many things that point to that. I just have seen a lot of really bad ideas. Some don't do well, and some do because the person is so passionate about making it happen. And so, yeah, I mean, I believe that. I believe that, you'll have an idea. If you don't do something with it, somebody else will. But more importantly, make sure that you're living your life around an idea that matters to you. I don't know why people go to work if they don't care.
Oh, I love that too.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've often thought that I could probably sell anything that I believed in, but I can't sell anything I don't believe in. So it's as simple as that. And to change my mind about whether I believe in it, that's almost impossible. If I've made up my mind. So
I agree. And a lot of times people say, I have 2 young kids, a 2-year-old and 5-year-old. And a lot of times people ask me how I'm managing to do that with kids. And I think actually kids are a really great motivator. Like, why would I leave my kids in the morning unless I was going to work at a place where I felt like I was making some real impact. I would find it really hard to work and not feel fulfilled.
So let's take a little break, and we'll be right back. I kind of hate to take a break, but what if we did? What if we took a break and came back and had some better ideas on the other side? Mona Patel, you've been with us before, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, you've been with us before. Yeah, you are very energetic, and I don't know where you are, but we woke you up, I think. What time is it where you are, or where are you?
It is 9:48 in one of the most energetic cities in the world, I would say, New York City.
Okay. Same time as us. Okay, so that's good. At least we didn't wake you up. Okay. All right.
No, not at all.
So we'll take a little break and we'll be right back. Here's today's weather forecast from The Source, WOCA. Showers and thunderstorms are likely today, mainly after 2 p.m. Otherwise, partly sunny skies with high temperatures near 91 degrees. Wind from the south at 3 to 7 miles per hour. There's about a 60% chance for that rain. Tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly before 1 a.m., mostly cloudy with lows around 70 degrees and a light southwesterly wind with about a 40% chance of overnight rain. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms likely again, mostly again after 2 p.m. with about a 70% chance.
Are you in need of custom screen printing, embroidery, or promotional items? Then look no further and come visit the brand new Legacy Team Sales. LTS is conveniently located off 17th Street next to Armstrong Homes in beautiful Ocala. We offer the best prices and highest quality products for your company, team, school, or nonprofit. Whether looking for screen printed shirts, embroidered polos, or travel team uniforms, you'll be sure to find it at Legacy Team Sales. Come visit our new 27,000 square foot facility. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will assist you in every part of your custom purchase. LTS carries the hottest brands in the industry like Under Armour, Russell, Mizuno, Asics, Badger Sports, Gildan, Pacific, Ogio, and many more. At LTS, screen printing embroidery is done in-house and we guarantee customer satisfaction. Stop by, give us a call, or check us out on the web at shoplts.com. Remember the name, LTS.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood. And when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind. With a custom treatment plan that really works, I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
All right, Mona Patel is on the phone with us. She is definitely motivating us. Her book is called Reframe, Shift the Way You Think, Work, and Innovate. I think I understood that it's available as an ebook, but not an actual book yet, right? Am I right about that, Mona? Is that what
it's going to be? Yeah, it's on pre-order right now, and then both the Kindle and the actual book should be available at the end of this month.
Oh, okay, at the end of the month. Well,
almost there.
And again, thank you for coming on the air with us prior to the book's release to talk about it. But you're a very exciting person, and you add some energy to something. You know, in the music world, if you really listen to new music, you don't really hear anything that's really new. Not that it's not good. It's just not really all that different than stuff that's been out for the last 10, 20 years, whatever. But the way that the different musicians and record companies market this stuff, I mean, there's always something unique, whether it's, riding on a wrecking ball naked or wearing a suit made out of meat, But isn't it true that somebody must have said along the way, what if we did this? And boom, the song is maybe good, but I don't think we would have heard about it if it wasn't for some of those gimmicky things.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's where, it's really interesting because you mentioned earlier the concept of branding. And a lot of times people think of branding, we'll just say like with a lowercase b. It's the sign, maybe the logo, the colors that you use so that people recognize a company. But especially in this field of customer experience, we really think of branding as much bigger. It's almost the umbrella of the entire experience that customers have with a product or a company. And so it can be with a customer service person. It can be, by watching something on MTV. It can be the actual product or the music itself. But all of those things come together to form the kind of capital B, branding. And I think you just nailed why all those individual elements are important, because the actual thing you sell is just one component. Like you go to Disney World, going to Disney World, the actual experience of being there is just one component, but booking it, the hotel you stay in, the way you actually get to the resort, the way you get your ticket, the lines that you stand in, all of that contribute to the brand of Disney.
They really do.
And really try to encourage, yeah.
And in fact, you brought up Disney, and so was I going to bring up Disney, because they do have a way of making you feel really good about paying $100 to stand in line for a couple of hours.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
and it's the experience. I think that their brand is, well, in addition to their logo and everything, they're selling the experience of just having the time of your life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Tapping into being a child. And the fact is they designed every component of that experience. I mean, as a person who critiques these for a living, I have issues with some of them, but for the most part, I think most people would say their experience with Disney is positive, and they've designed every component of it. And a lot of companies that do that, there's a recent article by the Design Management Institute that shows that the companies that invest in design the most have kind of a 228% kind of higher rating than the S&P. It's amazing. You make a lot more money by doing this. There's a lot of proof around that.
Earlier in the interview, you used the word excuses, and one of the most common excuses I've heard people say is that it's somebody else's fault that I didn't succeed.
So blamer is one of our 8 excuse personas. We have 8. They start with B or S because they're BS.
Ah.
I know, I love that.
That's great.
So blamer is one of them. There's a bunch of other ones too. There's my favorite one because it's me, brat, which is, you don't think you need to. You're very judgmental right up front, and so you're very quick to dismiss an idea as good or not good, and you don't let it breathe. You don't let it actually have opportunity to do anything for your business. There's my other favorite, I think, is scaffolder, where you have a problem, but then you turn it into this big problem. For example, my dad is one, and so I was working with him to help him figure out a way to solve a business problem, and we were talking about delivering medical equipment to people's homes, and within 2 minutes we were talking about the healthcare system in America. He scaffold up to the broader.
Yeah.
It's so hard to solve for.
Yeah.
So of course, I can't solve this problem because we're talking about healthcare in America.
Yeah.
But there's 8 of them, and I think that's been the stickiest, most sexy part of the book. I think for the people who read it so far, it's really resonated because people identify themselves in them. And you can be both. You can be a bratty scaffolder. And it's just been really helpful for people to take that and then remember that it's getting in their way when it comes to innovation.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you this. I think ego gets in the way. It doesn't start with a B or an S, but I think ego is BS. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many bands I've known that just decided that they were going to stay together because I'm so good. I don't need any of you guys. And that's the end of that.
Exactly.
I love it. Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of mergers, in the business world, a lot of mergers are like that too, where entrepreneurs are coming together. I'm a part of a few entrepreneurial groups, and I think that's one of the main reasons people actually don't merge or don't think about working with each other, that their egos get in the way.
One of the great things that when David Letterman ended his career was he thanked everybody. And he kind of illustrated at that moment that while it had his name on the marquee, it was really this gigantic team, which was a wonderful step down from the ego. I think, a refreshing, even if it was at the last day.
A person has to be a visionary to be successful, and it really seems that you are with your founding of your company and everything. But how do you keep from getting scared? Because you have to move forward and go against the grain sometimes.
I think being scared is fun. That's the thing. You think about stress in the same way. Some people think of stress and it's automatically negative. What if stress was positive? What if fear was positive, right? So if you just reframe that emotion into something that is exciting, that it means that you're doing something that no one else is doing. I don't know. I find that has been the key, and that's why the whole book is called Reframe and not What If or something like that. That the key to all this is just seeing a problem as an opportunity. Seeing fear as something that is an emotion that you're waiting for, because when you feel it, you're doing something different. You're doing something meaningful.
Yeah, what if we just hang in there a little bit longer? That's a good what if, you know. It's just,
Yeah,
instead of
exactly. Just don't give up. It's going to happen eventually.
it is true. Wow, what a great motivational conversation we've had, Mona.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Larry.
You're in New York City. I have a what if. What if I went to New York in the train and brought an old plate back to the Bronx?
I love that one. Please come by and visit if you do.
And where are you? I mean, can you tell us, or is that? I mean,
Yeah, definitely. We're in the financial district, right near the South Street Seaport.
oh gosh, that's a wonderful
nice.
place to be.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be.
That's
It's a great place to be.
Sometimes a person will have a vision, they'll want to move forward, and they'll come across one of their peers or maybe a boss.
Excuse persona.
And they won't even want to go out on a limb to try this vision. They're very stubborn about
Right.
sticking with the
I think-
same old.
Yeah. I think this technique is going to be amazing for them. So this, in the book, it's reframework. And, what we did is we designed a technique. And so what that means is like we've made it so that you go through the emotions that you need to go through to actually launch an idea. So there's some stuff you do before you even ask what if around really getting to the heart of a problem. But then after, we take people through this. Like you list all the reasons why you can't actually follow through with an idea. And then we point out that a lot of times what you think of as a fact is actually a belief. And beliefs are great, but limiting beliefs are not great. And so when people kind of map the reasons why they can't do something, like the boss won't let me, or I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough time, when you map those to excuse personas, you start realizing that I'm making this up. I actually am making myself not do this. And that, like I said, I'm addicted to that aha that people have. I mean, it's really fun to help people figure out that they're getting in their own way and then decide they want to move past it.
Wow.
I went to your website, motivatedesign.com. Let's see. We've developed. Oh gosh, it was a question you just had on here. Now that it went away. Now I got a thing I got to fill out. Stay in the loop. I got to fill out. All right, I'm going to stay in your loop. I'm going to put my email address in there. So that's the website. If anybody wants to check it out, motivatedesign.com. The book comes out later this month. Reframe, shift the way you think, work, and innovate. Mona, you're welcome back anytime. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
I look forward to talking to you next time then.
That was fun. If you're ever in Florida, come in here. Go to Disney World and stand in line and then stop over here.
I will be there in September.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, nice.
Excellent. Mona, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, guys. Take care.
We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Americans' phone records can no longer be collected in bulk by the NSA. Senator Rand Paul leading the way in blocking a bill to renew the Patriot Act.
This is a debate over your right to be left alone.
Paul infuriated his fellow Republicans who walked out of the Senate chamber when he rose to speak. The Senate will now likely vote this week on the USA Freedom Act. That would renew several national security programs that expired at midnight.